Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today I'm excited to be joined by Stacey MacLean, a clinical psychologist, burnout specialist, and founder of Beat Burnout, where she helps high-performing leaders and professionals recover from burnout, build lives and careers that are both successful and sustainable. Through Beat Burnout, Stacey combines clinical psychology, leadership insight, and practical tools to help individuals understand burnout at its root, address nervous system regulation, mindset boundaries, and identity rather than just treating the symptoms. Stacey, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn more about your journey. So, with all of my guests, I do like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you were doing before you started up Beat Burnout, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
That's a great question. I have been working as a mental health therapist. So I'm actually not a clinical psychologist. I have a master's degree, but it depends on where you're at in the world, but I don't have a PhD. But I've been doing this career for about 15 years now. And I think every passionate entrepreneur, you have experience in the field that you're opening up. So I have a private practice and I work as much as I want to work. And in my past career, I lived in a place, I know this is an international podcast, but I lived in a very remote place in Canada in the north called the Yukon. And I started my therapy career up there. And I went through a pretty significant case of burnout myself and fought that whole burnout. It's really part of the culture.
Yeah.
When you work for government organizations and when you work for when you don't have control over your schedule, basically. And so it's a lot of chew 'em up, spit 'em out culture. And so, yeah, so I thought that is something that I really struggled with and everyone around me was struggling with. So I decided to, as a side business, create the Beat Burnout Blueprint.
I love it. And it is, as you say, a symptom of it's like the corporate hustle life culture, that whole, like, as you say, disposable employees where we can really take them to the top, push them as far as we can go, and then as soon as they can't continue performing because they're completely destroyed, we let go again. So we're moving on to that side project. So has that kind of developed now into that full-time career of what you were talking about before, or are we still navigating the two? Where are we at?
Well, yeah, that's a question I ask myself as well. But at this point, my main business is my private practice, and I have a couple of irons in the fire. So this is a side project. It's only been around for about a year, and that's something that I learned pretty quickly is you want to push and you want things to grow quickly, but that's just not how life works. So it's been only a year. So I think building the brand is important, but also the marketing piece. I'm a social scientist. I am not a salesperson. So marketing has definitely been something that is a growth piece for me. And so at this point, I am focusing on this as a side. But again, I don't work full time because as a therapist, I can't work
Yeah.
3 hours a week. My brain would be mush. So I do have a lot of time to focus on this. So it's been great. It's a really good learning experience. And I've had a lot of great people go through the program and I've had great feedback. So I've had a positive experience.
I love it. And it's nice that you can, as you say, kind of balance the two in a way that suits you. And are you avoiding the burnout yourself? So really practicing what you preach and still delivering at your full potential. Really, really nice. And often a lot of founders do find themselves in that similar situation where they have their zone of brilliance. They know what they're very much good at, but the business side of it is a struggle because you're wearing many hats. You're trying to learn as you go, like almost filling up the holes in the boat as it's sinking and trying to keep it afloat. So there's a lot to juggle. But let's dive into the business a little bit more then. So walk me through, who would you say is your ideal customer? Who do you really love to work with the most? And then from there, how is it you help them and support them?
I think originally when I started this, I thought I would work with specifically health professionals, nurses, therapists, first responders, those kinds of people. But now I'm realizing those are definitely target audiences as well. Anyone who works with people. But burnout happens to everyone. It can happen to anyone. So at this point, I am targeting, I try to go and focus on different groups of people. So a group of lawyers, perhaps, a group of nurses. And what I try to do, because I want everyone to benefit from this program in as many ways as possible. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get accredited. So as a professional, we all need continuing education credits, whether doesn't matter whatever field you're in. Usually that's part of the program to keep your license. So I'm trying to go piece by piece and with nurses try to get this program accredited. So not only will they benefit emotionally, but they can benefit from the program and save themselves. It's a lot of learning, it's a lot of psychoeducation. Sorry, I say it's a lot. No, it is not. It's 10, 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
If you're burnt out, you don't have a lot of space to
Yeah.
be doing hours a day of learning. So I say it's a lot, but it's a 12-week program. So over 12 weeks is a lot. So I want people to benefit in many different ways from it. So yeah, but basically anyone, have you ever suffered from burnout?
I have.
Yeah.
And as you say, anyone can suffer from burnout, no matter what job you're in. I was actually in hospitality
Oh,
and working three
yeah,
jobs at a time. So you do burn out. Anything that's forward
absolutely.
facing, a lot of thinking, a lot of working, you just don't. And for unfortunately for a lot of people that suffer burnout, it's not until they've gone through it or even pretty much halfway in that they realize that they're stuck in that
Yeah.
situation. And as you say, 15 minutes is a lot of time for someone that's burnt out.
Yeah. The thing that I think is the most important piece is, or maybe a misconception, is that people think burnout is about the job, but
Yeah.
it's actually almost never about the job. It's about how you're living your life as a whole, not just how you're showing up at work every day. So it's a lot, this program really dives into a lot of reflection on where did you get the idea that you had to work three jobs?
Yeah.
Or how are you showing up? Is your job in the way you identify? Where's your happiness? Is it tied up in your job or is it tied up in what you do for others? Or there's a lot of things, it's a lot of reflection. I would say
Yeah.
less work, more thought of how did I get here?
100%. And even when you went back to the hard work piece, I understood what you're trying to say because the timing isn't the hard work, but it is going within yourself and asking those questions. How did I end up in this situation?
Yeah.
And in my situation, it wasn't until my best friend and my roommate pointed it out to me and she was like, Olivia, I don't know how that you're doing what you're doing. She's like, that's not normal. And I was like, what do you mean it's not normal? She's like, you're gonna burn out. And then 2 weeks later, what happened? And that's what happens. It's just you once you're stuck in that cycle, it's how do you navigate what is it within yourself that you can do to get out, because as much as a coach or someone like yourself is there to help you along the way, you do have to put that work in yourself to change the
Oh,
habits moving forward, which is the
girl,
key.
you're preaching. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You do have to put that work in. There's no easy switch that you flick. So that's a great point. I'm glad you said that.
Cool, appreciate it. And I'm intrigued then to find out, obviously, with the learning of the marketing and the sales process as well, how are you juggling that going on? What channels and methods are you really finding most effective in finding those people to work with at the moment?
Yeah, so I recently engaged with a company that is going to maybe help me out a little bit with generating leads. And
Yeah.
because I'm not a cold caller, I'm not going to just call people, hello. That's not what I want to do with my time. So I am going to engage, I'm going to get a little help with that because I can't be good at everything, Olivia.
Yeah.
But also a lot of the outreach that I do is stuff like podcasts. I do a lot of paid public speaking for
Nice.
universities and for health professionals and departments of health and things like that. So anybody who's interested in learning a little bit more about mental health, about burnout. So I do a lot of that. And I find word of mouth, LinkedIn, it's I definitely, that's an area of growth for me. That's an area where I need to work on a little bit more growth. But again, because I'm not tied to this business of, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills this month?
Yeah.
Thankfully, this was a really great way. So I can let the business grow a little bit organically. And I do feel less pressure that way. And I love that.
That's nice. And as you say, it's just nice that you can take your time and do what feels comfortable for you,
Yeah.
getting that support and help and taking your time to make sure you understand every step and every process. Because as you do scale or do grow the company, it's important that you understand those steps as the leader and as the founder moving forward. And then organic is amazing. And I really like the fact that you also heavy on the knowledge and on the front end stuff as well, being yourself online, which is
Mhm.
a struggle for some people as well. And then, well, as you went forward, do you ever consider running ads and just really bringing in some traffic so that you can make the switch full time?
That's actually how I started. So
Okay.
when I built this program, I did not build it myself. I engaged with a company. That's what they did. They helped people build online programs. And of course, I'm hoping to retire in the next 5 years from maybe all one-on-one therapy because it's a big world out there. I want to see it all.
Yeah,
So
I get
I'd
it.
like to do online work. So this is my retirement program-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the plan. But when I hired this company, their idea was to market to you and you, like individuals, but all over. So I was marketing in the UK, I was marketing in the US and in Canada. And I found it really challenging. First of all, financially, it's expensive to be marketing on that level. I was using basically Meta, and
yeah,
they had a whole process set up, and I respected it, but it just wasn't fitting right with me. And there were sales calls. Ugh. And that did not feel good to me. I don't want to have to convince someone that you need this. That's just not where I'm at. I know that it can benefit people, so that's where I would like to stay. So my after that, I decided, okay, this isn't for me. So I'm marketing to corporations. I'm marketing to the people that are having trouble retaining their employees. I'm
gotcha.
marketing to the people that are chewing them up and spitting them out.
Yeah,
Well, that's who needs to be paying for these programs. That's who needs to be providing these services to their employees because
yeah.
it's an impossible cycle, those corporate cycles.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like there's a lot of funding being cut as well from organizations and corporations to aid in their staff, getting that kind of aid and help. But definitely understand the individual approach as well, because it just adds to the bubble when you look to scale. You need a consistent drive coming in. But obviously, I can understand why sales calls are a bit uncomfortable, especially in therapy. It's a very different approach
Mm.
to what you're going to do and what you're going to work. So it is a softer, let's like, when you're ready, we can ease into this. Just keep them within the ecosystem and be top of mind. Really cool. So, with that being said, then what are your plans to scale the business? So have you developed a new approach? Like, how are we going to get to that remote setting where we can move over full time?
Well, yes, I definitely have thought about scaling. And again, the lack of pressure is so great for me. So I think that working on developing some corporate partnerships within
Hmm.
the province that I'm in, but also throughout Canada
Yeah,
for now. And then I can move internationally. But for now, I feel like I really have to build the brand here and go outward. So I basically do cohorts. So I'll bring in, say, I have a group of lawyers and there's 10 of them. So I'll bring them in. And the way the program works is you have an online platform that you have access to the entire time, but we work through week by week. And then once a week, I do a 1 hour group call, like a check-in.
yeah,
And it's very structured and it's organized to really let people speak about what they're struggling with. And it's a group situation where someone can say, "Oh, I'm also struggling with this," or, "And this is how I dealt with it." So it's a really integrative and peer consult
yeah.
or kind of thing. And these are people that are probably working for the same company. And I keep it pretty small within 5 or 10 people. That way it's not too overwhelming in a group context. And then every other week, I do a 20 to 30-minute check-in one-on-one with everybody that is in the cohort to just specifically address any issues they're having.
I like it. So it is a very hybrid model because there is a lot of high touch points on the individual level, but as you say that the camaraderie that comes with a group session is just
Yeah.
incredible because you can learn from other people. You can lean on anyone else within there that's in a similar situation and not just rely on your coach to be helping with advice, which is really nice. You
And
know,
I think you can understand, Olivia, like
yeah,
it's very isolating to
it
be
is.
in burnout.
It's for me, it's very depressing. I couldn't sleep, didn't leave my house. The only time I left my house was to work, and then I was pretty much sick for about a month because you
Right.
do just end up not wanting to do anything. It's a funny mindset your brain gets in. So when you do meet people in that like-minded situation, it's just very comforting on the other hand of that as well.
That's
Um,
right. If you can identify, oh, this person's going through this as well.
yeah,
I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. Those sorts of thoughts that go through your head that aren't necessarily rational, but that's what happens when you're in burnout or in any depressed mental state, right?
yeah, and as you say, it can affect anybody. It doesn't matter the
Yeah.
time, it doesn't matter the job, it doesn't matter how old you are. it will come a point when you're doing too much, your body just goes.
Literally. Yeah, I've had clients in their 60s, 70s. I've had clients that are in their teenage years, like late teens. So it really can touch everyone. So to scale the business, I basically for now I keep it so I am handling it on my own, but I do have people that are interested, either therapists or people that can host the 1 hour sessions because the program's built. It speaks for its
Yeah,
it's a lot of psycho ed, it's a lot of reflection, it's online journaling if you're into that. It's a very low pressure, make it work as it works for you. Here are the things you can do, but we're all adults here. I'm not
yeah,
here to push you or pressure you into doing things you don't want to do. So it's very much go at your own pace in the manner of if you don't want to journal, if you're not into that, then don't do it. Yeah, I like the premise that we're all adults here. You're not being forced. No one's pressuring you. You're not going to lose your job. So it's very much come as you are and meet you where you're at.
that's really cool. And then actually tailor it to your own life.
Yeah.
You're not going to, for example, for myself, one of the things was to meditate and sit down and relax my body. I'm
Yep.
not very good at that. So I used to go for a run instead, but it was the same thought process in my head. It just adapted to my lifestyle. And then would you ever maybe consider as well, I know because you mentioned obviously about sales pipe, but just to relieve kind of your pressure and run, if you ever run sales calls, just relieving that side of the business as well, like maybe implementing a sales team so that you don't have to
Oh,
do that to scale.
one of the questions was if you had unlimited funds or if you had, and that was my thought is, of course, I think this program it could be everywhere. I
Yeah,
think every company could benefit. Every person who's ever struggled with burnout needs this. So I have a lot of belief in this program. So yeah, I would spread it wide. I would hire a huge sales team. Of course.
love
I would
it.
also hire out so I could be running 15 cohorts at the same time because this isn't therapy, right? It's coaching.
Yeah,
And so it's not something that you don't need a master's degree to do the very scripted group work.
yeah.
Yeah, I would build it huge. It's just a matter of the only thing getting in the way is me. Yeah.
And the time will come because obviously you've seen the vision, so it's just got to go for it. And then when you get there, it's really cool. And
Thanks.
Stacey, I have one final question to ask you before we
Sure.
log out. So
Yeah.
if you could go back in time to a younger self and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now but that you didn't know then, what would you say to yourself?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think that I would say learn balance. Learn balance early on because I think that, like yourself, we take on all of these roles without understanding how they're going to affect us down the road or in the moment. Because to be honest, when I started the job in the Yukon, it was I wasn't even a month in and I started getting panic attacks. That's very quick for your body to be in, what are you doing? So, learning how to balance and making sure, and I love to say this to all my clients, you are always the most important person in the room. Always. You have to be, right? So, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of anyone else. And that's part of balance, is
Yeah,
making sure that you're okay before you try to make everyone else around you okay. So,
I love that. And it's such good a piece of advice. It's
thanks.
yourself is first. Love it. And
Yeah.
Stacey, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out to work with you, connect with you, and just check out all the programs and amazing work that you've got going on?
Yeah, I have a website. It's beatburnout.ca.
Nice and simple. Beatburnout.ca.
Yeah.
Perfect. And thank you again for joining us. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go and check out Stacey and beatburnout.ca. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future by wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we will see you on the next one.